Chancellor Gary S. May, a celebration of a great and pioneering leader in higher education and S.T.E.M, and the inaugural guest of the New Chemists podcast. The New Chemists podcast interview with David Joshua Ferguson and Chancellor May, 7th Chancellor University of California, Davis. Dr. Gary S. May became University of California Davis's 7th Chancellor on August 1, 2017. He leads the most comprehensive campus in the University of California system, with 4 colleges and 6 professional schools. An accomplished scholar and engineer, Dr. May came to UC Davis after a 3-decade career at the Georgia Institute of Technology in Atlanta. He was the Dean of the Institute's College of Engineering, the largest and most diverse school of its kind in the nation. Prior to his appointment as Dean, Chancellor May was the Steve W. Chaddick Chair of Georgia Tech School of Electrical and Computer Engineering. He also served as the executive assistant to the then Georgia Tech President G. Wayne Clough. As Chancellor of one of the world's greatest public research universities, Gary S. May leads UC Davis as it advances its mission in several key areas. In 2015, President Barack Obama honored Dr. May with the Presidential Award for Excellence in STEM Mentoring. In September 2018, Dr. May was inducted into the National Academy of Engineering, one of the highest honors in the field for his innovations and educational programs for underrepresented groups in engineering, and his contributions to semiconductor manufacturing research. In April 2020, Dr. May was elected to the American Academy of Arts and Sciences under the classification of educational and academic leadership. Dr. May has won numerous honors for his research and was named Outstanding Engineer Alumnus of UC Berkeley, where he earned his master's and PhD degrees in electrical engineering and computer science. A prominent voice in higher education, Dr. May is married to Mrs. Lachelle R. May, a software engineer with CNN. They have 2 grown daughters, Simone and Jordan. Good afternoon, Dr. May. Thank you again for joining us on the New Chemists podcast. To be a part of my current career, I've had mentors that have guided me in how to be statesman, like how to be a better public speaker, again, what associations are important for you to continue in and others that are not as important, because there are many demands on your time in this role. So I had some good advice about what organizations would be useful to be a part of and for what other associations it's better to delegate. I always say there's 3 aspects of anyone's success. One is obviously some talent. You have to have some innate ability. The other is you have to work hard, you have to have a work ethic. You have to try to use that ability to accomplish something. And then third aspect is the one that's the least in your control, is you could call it luck, you could call it serendipity, you could call it being blessed. What specific ways have you been adaptive or creative in the field of science? Well, I think what I like to do is look for analogies. And what I mean by that is if I see something in the natural world, I try to adapt that to something that I'm working on scientifically. So I mentioned the AI semiconductor manufacturing work that we did. I was kind of fascinated early in my career with neural networks and how the brain works and all those sorts of things. And I tried to see if there are ways that you could use some of those approaches in how manufacturing could be done more efficiently, and had some success with that. So although adversity doesn't always feel good, often doesn't feel good when you're going through it, when you reflect on it, going back, you try to figure out what you can learn from that experience and how you can apply it going forward. Well, I think in academic leadership, we're going to start there. The important thing is to be able to find fulfillment in other people's success. Right? So early in my career, it's much more about being an individual contributor and establishing a track record and getting recognition and award, etc. But in leadership, that stuff is not as important anymore. It's a nice thing if I get an award, but really it's much nicer if I provide an environment here at UC Davis where our students or our faculty or our community, people in our community, can be successful.